Has the two-party system well and truly died? Was last night the moment that it was finally declared extinct? Let's speak with Sir Michael Fabricant, broadcaster, political commentator and former Conservative MP. Michael, good afternoon to you. You were, of course, you were an MP for about 507 years. So you've been around the block, you know what it looks like. You've been, your party and various others, you've seen people bruised, you've seen them jubilant, you've seen them just about going into the distance, into extinction, and then coming back again. We've seen all of this. What are you, bearing in mind of the trends that can happen in politics, Michael, what do you make of what you've seen on these local elections so far? Is two-party politics dead, or is it just on life support?
Well, it was utter carnage yesterday. I think that's the only word we can use. I'm going to get in trouble for using this analogy, but I will. I'm quite into war films and history programs about the Second World War, and it's like the initial sweep of the Germans into Russia in Operation Barbarossa, scattering everybody before them, although we know, of course, what happened in the end to the Russians. True. But Reform can feel pretty proud of themselves, actually, for the last few days and what's been happening. And fascinating, too, that with Angela Rayner, who was going round her constituency and saying that, which is untrue, by the way, that Reform is saying that they were going to privatise the NHS and that everybody would have to pay for using the NHS, it didn't make the slightest bit of difference. And people voted in her constituency en masse for Reform. So it's an interesting time. But I'm going to answer your question, though, because you asked me, is the two-party system over? And I think for the short term, for the medium term, it probably is, yes. But I think in years to come, I think if we have a Reform government, they will disappoint, because all governments disappoint. And then I think providing the Conservative Party and indeed even the vestiges of the Labour Party can just hold themselves together, then we may return to that main two-party system. Well, but, you know, people have long memories, and it's going to take time for people to forgive the Conservatives and the Labour Party, I think. Well, I mean, the Conservative Party leader, Kemi Badenoch, was in very buoyant mood, despite also getting a bit of a thumping. Let's have a reminder of what she said earlier today.
We need people to know that hope is coming. The Conservatives have to come back because, my goodness, this country needs us. We are coming back to fight for our high streets. We are coming back to fight for hard-working people. We are coming back to fight for businesses. We are coming back to fight for veterans, for parents, for farmers. We're coming back to stamp out anti-Semitic hatred on our streets. Coming back to deliver a stronger economy. We're coming back to deliver a stronger country. And we are coming back to get Britain working again. Thank you.
Now, I have to say, Michael, I thought that was a pretty good speech. I mean, considering the Tories also had a bit of a public lashing at the local election ballot boxes, buoyant mood, sounding positive, and the only way is up for Kemi Badenoch, she's saying. Yeah, full of enthusiasm there, and her supporters, and good for her. But, you know, the problem with the Conservative Party, and the problem indeed with the Labour Party as well, and maybe in years to come with Reform and Restore UK and the Greens, is you get factions. And she's on the same wing of the Conservative Party as I am, which is, I suppose you would say, on the right side. But you've got so many of them who are the Lib Dems. You know, I remember when Dominic Raab wanted to do away with the Human Rights Act and bring in a new Bill of Rights. And that made sense, something that was right for the UK. And what happened? It was the Lib Demers, if you like, in the Conservative Party that put a stop to that and watered everything down. And it was because of that we saw the growth in Reform. And if only we could just stick to our guns. But good for Kemi. But Kemi is going to have the stamina, because it's not just today or tomorrow. There are 3 more years before the next election.
And I hope we keep Kemi, and I hope that Kemi will want to stay, because if we don't win the next election, and let's be honest, if you look at the current polling, we won't win the next election, then I think the election after that, for all the reasons I've just given, the Conservatives will be in a good position to win. But we'll have to see, won't we? We'll all be dead, both you and me, Ian, by the time that happens.
Are you sure? You are 58 years older than me, Michael. I should just add that in. The interesting thing about trends, though, is that, I mean, maybe you're being a bit too pessimistic in an intelligent way, if that makes sense, because we have seen things. I mean, look in Scotland, where, you know, half an hour ago, the SNP were dead and buried. You had Sturgeon and all that was going on there, and it looked as if there was not a cat in hell's chance that the SNP could make any inroads in any form of election, general, local, Holyrood, councils, whatever, because they were so badly tarnished and so badly damaged that they were, you know, being talked about. You know, the last leader, whose name escapes me, John Swinney. Was it Swinney? Yes.
Maybe not. Maybe he's the current one.
Sorry, he's the current. Yes, Swinney is the current one. Yes. Looked like an interim leader almost, like until they get the pain of the next election out the way, and then suddenly, almost out of nowhere, they're back. They're back.
But was it the SNP actually winning, or was it because the Labour Party have proven to me so hopeless that the only other logical party to vote for?
Yep.
And don't forget, although there was a massive win for Labour in the last general election, it wasn't really people voting for Labour.
Yeah.
It was people voting anything but Tory.
Yep.
And it was that got Labour in. And as a consequence, people don't feel that attached to Labour. So, you know, with the mismanagement of Reeves and Starmer's incredibly grating voice. I mean, I was listening to him this morning saying how he was going to go on and on and on to, you know, right up to the next election.
Yeah.
That tinny voice is so irritating for people. But, you know, that is why there isn't the bedrock, if you like, enthusiasm for Labour, because people didn't really want Labour. They just didn't want the Tories. And I think in Scotland, we may be seeing the same thing. And I just wonder if there were a strong Labour Party nationally, whether the SNP would be doing so well. But you may be right about me being pessimistic about the Conservatives. I'm trying desperately to be fair, because everybody knows I was a Conservative MP. And I don't want to say everything is all right in the Conservative camp, because it isn't. But I hope that Kemi Badenoch can assert her authority. I think she's doing it at the moment, and keep those Lib Demers who are in the Conservative Parliamentary Party still, keep them down, so that if the Conservative Party is going to have an exciting manifesto, and I think under her they will try and do it, they can actually then deliver it, because deliverance is everything.
Yeah, and of course, again, it's those moving parts and things that can happen. You know, you need, you know, one party has a bit of a scandal, which literally it was that, wasn't it, that sort of began the SNP downfall. But if it happened to Labour or Reform, and Kemi Badenoch is in the middle of it all and looking good and bright and, you know, quite young and fresh, she's clearly intelligent, her oratory skills seem to have settled down into a more comfortable place from where she was maybe a year or so ago. Who knows? I mean, it could well be that the Tories make this astonishing comeback.
Absolutely. And, you know, we've got 3 years to go yet. I mean, I know that Nigel Farage is exhausted, but God forbid, I wouldn't wish it to anyone. But if anything happened to Nigel Farage, where would that put the Reform? I mean, would people still vote for Richard Tice? I don't know. I don't know whether the others, or Robert Jenrick, they're nice people, but do they have the charisma of Nigel Farage? I don't think they do. But and also, of course, I wouldn't say these are like local elections are like by-elections, but people can use local elections as a protest.
Yeah, that's true.
So come a general election, people might begin to think, well, you know what? You know, what actually is the defence policy of reform? What actually is the agriculture policy of reform? They don't have spokesmen at the moment for those subjects and many others. So they've got to get a team in place, and they haven't got it yet.
But they are.
But
I mean,
those
indentations, though, Michael, do continue. We just heard that Reform UK have taken control of Suffolk County Council. So they've now got, you think about the map of England, they've got Suffolk, just below they've got Essex, and just below they've got Kent. So they're three pretty substantial council areas that they're now running. Now, I know a county council isn't an MP, but they aren't insignificant parts of our political lives. They run stuff, they have massive budgets, and they have to get it right. So this is an increasingly good day for reform.
Yes, but the point you made, they've got to get it right, is absolutely the point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm speaking to you now from Lichfield in Staffordshire, and Staffordshire has gone completely under reform, and it's been a fairly disastrous and embarrassing situation here because they've gone through 3 leaders in the last 1.5 years, which is absolutely extraordinary. The first leader had to resign because of racial comments he'd been making on social media. The second leader, who replaced him, had to resign because of his racial comments. Then there was a huge gap while they fought out among themselves, and we've now got another leader. So it's not been great. And also, they brought in this Doge system, which is what Elon Musk did in the US to make savings. And for example, one of the things they were saying in Staffordshire, and I'm sure it'll be repeated up and down the country, that money was being wasted on gay prides in Staffordshire because the Conservative Staffordshire County Council supported gay pride, until they did the investigation and then found out that no actual money was being spent. It was moral support. You know, no money was saved by Doge. So, but maybe they'll do a better job in Suffolk, and they know damn well that they've got to do that if they're going to demonstrate that they can deliver for the UK.
Listen, on that point, Michael, thank you for being with us. Lovely to see you again, by the way. Have a great weekend. So Michael Fabricant, he's, of course, former Conservative MP, did about 30-odd years, I think, in Westminster. Now, commentator and broadcaster.